Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today's another great day for 4 news stories, so sit comfortably and let's get started. Our first story. None of us work here. I'm a lady in my late 30s. My style is feminine and slightly dressier than many. I also like makeup and jewelry and frequently wear both. I probably look like a Karen, actually. So I'm somewhat professionally dressed and shopping at the cosmetics counter at a local department store. It rhymes with Tracy's. A late teenage or college-age girl is also there and spills her drink. She looks at me apologetically and says, "Oh, I'll clean it up." I shrug sympathetically at her because it's utterly not my problem. No employees in sight at the moment. Well-behaved teen goes and gets some paper towels from the restroom and is wiping up the drink spill. Along comes oblivious Karen. I've moved slightly farther away at this point, but still within earshot. Karen sees the flustered teenager cleaning up a spill and loudly clears her throat and taps her toes. "Excuse me." "Oh, I'm sorry, I spilled this and I'm just trying to wipe it up." "Well, I need help now." "I'm sure someone will be over in a second." "I'm late for my appointment and I left my XYZ makeup product at home and I need XYZ specific product right away, so leave that and go get it for me." The teen attempted to explain that she literally can't as she doesn't work here, which almost certainly implies that she doesn't have the keys to the makeup cases. Karen is having none of it, telling her to go get someone who is less useless, etc. The teen looked helplessly in my direction, which also directed Karen's stare at me. At this point, I realize they both think I work here. And Karen at least thinks that I supervise this younger person. I had actually just decided that I was going to try to call off this rabid female dog myself and started moving in their direction. Karen sees me as a kindred spirit who will help her properly chastise this impertinent servant. Like a gift from above, I have a sudden malicious inspiration. I put on my best customer service voice. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so very sorry, but we're completely sold out of XYZ product. I think it might be coming in the shipment we're getting next week." Now, I live in a small town. The only local source for upscale makeup is Tracy's. Your only other options around being the blue and red big box stores. So if they don't have it here, she's out of luck for getting it immediately anywhere nearby. Best of luck. Karen has a brief, delicious rant about what a stupid store it is that can't keep her very important makeup in stock. Then she stalks off in a huff. Poor teenager tried to explain herself. "I'm sorry, I think she thought I worked here." I smiled at the teenager. "Yeah, I don't work here either." I still smile when I think about it. It's Bracey's, right? And our next story. Harassed at Costco. So first, a bit of backstory. I live in the UK, and my brother is one of the managers at the Costco near my college. So instead of wasting money on a bus pass, I hang around in Costco after college until my brother finishes his shift and I catch a ride with him. But something happened the other day while I was waiting. I just had to share. Sorry for any misspelling or grammar mistakes. English is not my first language. I'm Welsh. So I had just finished up college and made my way to Costco. The guy at the door already knew me and knew why I was there, so he let me in without needing a Costco card. Once inside, I found my brother and a few of the other employees that I babysit for. We talked for a few minutes till they had to go back to work, and I decided to look around at some of the new stuff they were selling. I was in the middle of browsing through clothes when I felt a harsh tap on my shoulder. I turned around to see a lady with her blonde gray hair scraped back into a tight bun, looking like Botox, and a face that literally looked like a bulldog chewing on a wasp. Lady holds up a pair of jeans. "Do you have these in a size 14? Me. "Oh, sorry, miss. I don't work here, but I think the woman that handles the clothes is in the next aisle." Lady, now looking annoyed. "Don't you lie to me. I saw you chatting with the other employees less than a minute ago. So could you stop being lazy for 1 second and get me a pair of jeans?" "Ma'am, just because I may know and talk to the workers does not mean I work here myself. If you'd like, I could help you find a real employee and see what they can do for you." This woman was having none of it and started screaming at me, saying that I should be more respectful to paying customers instead of being a lazy, lying bee. She really did say bee. Luckily, one of my brother's friends saw what was happening and rushed over to help. We'll call her CW for this story. CW. "Excuse me, miss, is everything all right?" Lady. No, I'm absolutely disgusted with the service I'm getting from your useless coworker. I demand she be sacked immediately. CW gave me a worried look and said, I'm sorry, miss, but she doesn't work here. The lady was PO'd at this point and forcibly grabbed my arm and dragged me to the front desk, demanding to see the manager while CW was chasing after us to try to get the lady to stop. Once again, I was immediately recognized by the people at the desk and immediately got my brother out. He looked at the pissed-off lady and then at me as if to say, WTF is going on? And once again, the woman started yelling about disrespectful I am and how I should be sacked. Halfway through her rant, my brother loses his crap and tells her to shut the F up. He said I was not an employee, however, I was his sister, and if she didn't stop her harassment, he'd call the police. She went as pale as a ghost, but me being the idiot I am, I started snickering at the situation. She then turned to me red-eyed and literally tried to slap me before my brother grabbed her hand and had her escorted out of the building with a permanent ban on her head. I know it's not as OMG as some of the stuff on here, but I just thought I'd share. And our next story. Bananas! I was shopping for groceries at a ShopRite. Their store colors and uniform were black and green. At this point of my life, I was a high school teacher, but I also had worked customer service jobs for over 10 years, which I think informs my reaction. I was wearing a red and blue hoodie with the hood up, headphones on, and completely oblivious to my surroundings. By no means did I look like I was working there. I was also carrying around a basket with some avocados, a pineapple, and other assorted produce. One thing I definitely did not have at the moment, bananas. So I'm looking around for something and I'm not really moving, just standing out of the way of other customers. I'm sort of registering a strange voice speaking, but as many others on this subreddit, I had no reason to think I was the one being spoken to. I finally find what I was looking for and was headed that way when I realized there was a cart blocking my way. The lady pushing the cart is looking at me and saying something. She looked like she was about 60 and roughly 5'3" or 1.6 meters. Her voice sounded like she'd been smoking every day since she was 13. I take my headphones off and realize she is yelling at me. Bananas! I look at her incredulously, but she repeats herself, this time louder. Bananas! I'm sorry, what? Where are the bananas? I'd been having a good day. I didn't have to work, was looking forward to cooking myself dinner and playing some games. I was not expecting an old lady to be yelling at me about bananas. Now, I don't handle confrontation very well, so when I respond, I immediately match her attitude. I don't know where the bananas are. I don't give a F where the bananas are. After this, she looked surprised and annoyed and started muttering to herself something about manager and rude. Exactly what you would imagine someone like her would say. At this point, I realize I handled the situation wrong and that I had an opportunity. So I go up to her as she finds someone who definitely does work for ShopRite and may have been a manager. Hey, before you start screaming at this guy too, you need to know, 1, I don't work here. 2, even if I did, I don't know who the F you think you were talking to, but you do not speak to another human being like that. I think the teacher in me and the 10 years of pent-up customer service anger got let out onto this angry banana addict. I didn't stay to find out her reaction. And one more story. Family parks in our driveway and want to sue us because we towed their car. My family lives 2 minutes away from a very nice little Chinese restaurant. It's quite popular, but has limited parking and visitors always have to park a few minutes away. Around 10 minutes away is a good spot that's even advertised by the restaurant. A few weeks ago, a family apparently thought the 10 minutes by foot was way too much and decided to park in our driveway, directly in front of our garage. Don't get me wrong, you definitely can't mistake our driveway for a normal parking space. We have flowers and a small tree surrounding it, like a small front yard. Anyway, we don't really know when they arrived, but when my mom came home at 7 p.m., the car was already there. She parked on the side of the road and went inside, thinking we had guests. When neither my dad nor me had anyone over, my parents asked all of our immediate neighbors, and when none of them knew whose car it was, we waited for an hour, then called a towing service. It was 9 p.m. by then. They came and took the car away. At around 11 p.m., someone rang our doorbell. Who would have guessed it was the family who owned the car? A mom, a dad, and 2 brats. When my dad opened the door, already PO'd because it was late, they started to scream in his face. "Where's our car? We parked it here and we went to the restaurant. Why is it gone?" This got my mom's and my attention too. My dad wanted to stay calm and told them that this was our private property and they illegally parked there, and that we got their car towed. After they heard that, the parents completely freaked out. The screaming and name-calling that followed made their kids cry, and my dad closed the door on them. We then went on with our evening. An hour later, let me remind you it was midnight by now, the doorbell rang again. My mom already went to bed, and me and my dad were in our pajamas. We both went to the door. The police stood in front of us. They told us that the family that stood behind them and had waited an hour in front of our house accused us of having totaled their car and ignored them. We told them what happened, and after they didn't see a totaled car anywhere and we were in our house, they believed us pretty quick. The officers told us their story and left with the family in tow. After that, nothing really happened until we got a bill in the mail. They seriously sent us their bill from the towing company and demanded us to pay it, or else they would sue us. My parents consulted a lawyer, and he told us to just ignore it. They can't do anything. After that, we didn't hear from them again. Car? What car? I don't see a car. Where'd you park it? Did you park it in a public space? Did you leave it unattended? Duh. Thank you everyone who watched the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.